I'm super excited to have Courtney Swift with me. She's from the Denver market and LPT, of course. And today we just wanted to talk a little bit about overcoming obstacles, especially in this market right now. It feels like there's a little bit of a dark cloud.
I think just in our industry in general, right? Like, because we see on like social media, like the last week was a big week for
Hmm.
real estate agents.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that came down the pipeline. And it's important to not just stay positive and believe it. It's important to get educated without like getting so overwhelmed with what other
Hmm.
people are posting
Yeah.
and maybe even like stay away
Yes.
from that for a little bit, right? Because the more that we constantly see it in our face, like I noticed myself being like, whoa, Follow Up Boss got bought us by Zillow.
Mhm.
I don't really give a shit that Follow Up Boss got bought
Totally.
us by Zillow. And I almost think it's a cool thing because I think that it could be more beneficial for what Follow Up Boss offers and what Zillow offers, and you marry the 2,
Mhm.
like, I think that could be incredible, marriage in heaven
Yeah.
for our clients,
I
right?
think a lot of people forgot though that Zillow already bought showing time and like don't care about showing time. But nothing has changed. Nothing is hurting us. I do believe that Zillow is kind of like absorbing all these things. Like I don't want to say like the Walmart of real estate, but I do think that Zillow is trying to position themselves in this market to win. And I think that a lot of us have to do the same thing.
Right, and so it's a matter of, like, okay, what happened to monopoly, right? Like, there can't
Mhm.
be a monopoly. Of course, that's what's happening, right? Because they are buying up companies,
Mhm.
and realtors paid them to be able to they created the monster.
It's a love and hate relationship but I think you're right along those lines of staying off of social media because the more you focus on all those negative things, that's what you are attracting. I strongly believe that. It's like a magnet. And I noticed for myself when I stopped like listening and paying attention to the fear monger, I used to watch, I won't say his name, but he is constantly updating everybody and it's clickbait. And he's getting the views and he's getting the subscribers on YouTube. And I found myself freaking out like, oh my God, what am I going to do? This changes everything. It hasn't really changed a ton right now. I mean, we do have to plan and start thinking about how we're going to get clients to stop paying for leads. Running our own ads, it's very simple learning how to do it yourself.
Like, my big thing is agents have to be a business owner, a marketer,
Yeah.
like, they have to wear so many different hats, and it's easier because I look at team versus solo, right?
Mhm.
And so it's easy to jump on a team because they already have all those process
Mm.
in place, and then it's hard for an agent to be an agent nowadays, right? Because they have to be a business owner, an accountant, a marketer, a technologist, like, all these hats that they have to wear, and, it just makes it easy just to jump on a team because they already
Yeah.
have those processes.
Yeah.
And with having a team, I already know, like, what processes we had in place,
Mhm.
and it's very, very difficult for a solo agent to be
Mhm.
able to put those processes in place.
Yes.
We had 4 VAs, we were buying leads, spending a lot of money on leads every month. We had
ISAs.
CRM, ISAs, and so, like, it's hard for a solo agent to keep up unless you've built your pipeline for so long
Mhm.
and your personal sphere of influence for so long that it makes it a little bit challenging for solo agents.
Yeah. And just having that path already paved before you. I think especially if you're brand new, people think that they can do it on their own. I've had to learn to build all of my own systems, and that has been taken so much time. Whereas jumping right into a team, yeah, your splits are going to be lower. You're not going to make as much money, but you get to where you're trying to go a little bit quicker, in my opinion. But circling back to staying positive and believing that, I mean, some people, they just don't like real estate. And in that case, it's just like, now's a good time to leave because it's not working anyway. But some people that really do wanna stay in it, and believe it, and they have their dreams and wanna be in the industry, um, this is where you really have to push and grind and level up, I think.
I think so too. I mean, the last couple of years have been, I would say, pretty easy for real estate
Mhm.
agents, right? And so now it's
Yeah.
just a matter of putting in the work and just making it happen. And if you're passionate about something, then that should be easy. It should be wake up, get out of bed. You've got a schedule. You're gonna hit it hard.
Mhm.
And there are agents out there. Like, I loved working with new agents because they had the desire, they had the
Yeah.
grind, they were passionate about it. And so, like, whenever there was a newer agent on the other end of the deal, I would like, this is awesome because I know that you have passion for it.
Yeah, but I also think it could be a little bit of naivete because 'cause they're like, they don't know yet how hard it is, so they're, like, super eager, going into it. It's the agents that have been in it for a while, like, this is a grind, whereas a new agent, they're super excited and they're kinda numb
Huh,
to, like, all the hits, so I don't know, that's just my thought
yeah,
too.
interesting.
One of the other things that, to get more business I've been seeing a lot of people and talking to a lot of agents, like, where am I gonna get leads? People are, frantically looking for new business. Some people are maxing out their credit cards. Like, what are your tips for agents that
Well, any leads that we had ever bought that were online leads, we would track them really well. Well, I can't, not anywhere. Zillow leads would close within 60 days. And then after 60 days, our conversion rate just completely dropped. Any other online leads, they're like 12 to 18 months out. So even me personally, like I was looking at buying new internet leads. And then I was like, I can still continue to build a pipeline. I have a pretty big database. I can continue to build it, or I can work through my database. And if I continue to build it, yes, 12 to 18 months, that positions me in a good place.
Mhm.
That's not now money. So if it's something that you are not able to afford right now, you have to realize that some of these leads, they're not going to close right away. It's going to take time for them to
Yeah.
close. And again, with Zillow, is that you're up against teams. You're up against teams that are spending, I mean, we were spending $25,000 a month on leads, and there's an algorithm in the back that will provide the leads, the better leads to the teams that are spending more. And I don't, I'm not, I'm convinced that that happens. And I've never seen it in writing or anything. I'm just convinced that that
I
happens.
I agree with you because I've actually been told that, the better rate that you have, the more leads like, for example, Zillow will give you more leads if you close more leads and your percentages are higher because that's what Zillow wants. I mean, they're obviously in it for the money too. So, so it's an interesting game. I know people are just, like, freaking out and trying to figure out how to get that right now money.
The right now money, um, I believe it it's working like your personal sphere. Your
Yeah.
people who know, like, and trust you. And just keep getting your information out in front of them, keep getting your face out in front of them, keep having those conversations, adding people to your database. Um, Ricky Carruth is a great guy. Like I've been following him for a little bit, and he's all about like just staying consistent, making the calls,
Mhm.
sending the letters. And I think if somebody's willing to do that, great things can come out of it. Anything with being consistent and putting in the work, great things can happen.
Working your sphere and building relationships is more valuable than spending and I get that time is money because the buying the leads is a quick fix for a lot of people. Like, they're like and it's like instant gratification. Like, "Ooh, I got a lead. I'm gonna work this lead," instead of spending a little bit more time, maybe, spend 20 bucks on taking someone out for coffee or something versus pouring it all in. Because 'Cause I've been getting a lot more referrals that way too. Because 'cause I've been a little bit slower, um, and just having more time to talk with people and sharing their pains. Because everyone's going through it. It's kind of a weird time. Everyone's having and so, yeah, building relationships, not trauma bonding, like, not trauma bonding,
Trauma bonding. I like that word, trauma bonding.
but just being there to support and carry each other's burdens.
Well, I mean, for clients too, right? Like, how many
Yeah.
buyers are just like, I really want to buy something. I don't want the interest rate. Like, you have to be there for them.
Yeah.
And you have to have those conversations on what does it look like? A conversation that I had the other day with a buyer was, do we use this $15,000 to $30,000 credit that the seller is buying, or do we take a price reduction? And it's like, how long are you going to have the home for? Because
Mhm.
that's what makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like, are you planning on staying in the home for, and that can change, right? We had that conversation. Are you planning on staying in that home for long term? Or is this something to get you by for the next couple years? Maybe a price reduction makes sense. Maybe it's the interest rate. Like, you have to run the numbers and you have to have those conversations to figure out what is best for your client and what situation, because everybody's different. What situation are they going through?
Yeah, and then figuring out how to be a problem solver instead of just freaking out. Like, we have to figure out how we can get these clients into a home at a price that they can afford And there's a variety of different ways. I know new programs are constantly popping up.
I love that you say a problem solver, right? Like, I feel like I am a master at problem
Mhm,
solving. If anything comes my way, I am going to be like, how do I figure it out?
mhm.
What am I going to do to take, like, I go all in, right? If it makes sense, I go all in. If it doesn't, then
I do too. I think
what
there's like this thing in my brain where it becomes almost obsessive in something I do if it's worth it.
if it's worth it? That's right.
Yeah.
If it's worth it. And so if it's worth it, I will do whatever it takes to
Mhm.
make it happen. And sometimes it's like, okay, I believe it's worth it, right? And then I'll do whatever it takes. And then the client may not be there. So you kind of have to match like what their
Their
level is
energy.
and match their energy on where they're going to be. Because if like I'm like, this is it, I'll do whatever it takes. I'm going to make it happen. And then it's like they're not there yet.
Yeah.
Then it's like, how are you going to get them there? And if you're not able to get them there, then meet them where they're at.
What do you think the biggest fear is of why buyers aren't? Like, I understand the payment, but if there was a workaround for that payment, like going new construction or buying, like, so I just talked to Tiffany, who's letting us use this really cool studio. But she said that they just rolled out a new program where sellers can now permanently buy down a rate as well. So to be able to compete with new construction. So I guess I know buyers get fatigued long before real estate agents do because we're like, yeah, we could do it. Let's do it.
We'll figure out a way.
Yeah, we'll figure out a way.
And I don't know, like, I think every buyer is different, right? Like, and they all have different situations, different circumstances. Payment is huge, I believe,
Mhm.
for a lot of buyers. Um, However, like I've had buyers that the payment hasn't been an issue. They've had large amount of money to put down. So I think it's case by case.
Like if they,
Then buying the house at this amount and paying still top dollar, right? And then
Mhm.
so here's where I would go with that is like the inventory is still really, really low. And for it to be for us to see a huge drastic decline in homes sales and homes on the market, it's gonna have to like there's gonna have to be some massive thing
Mhm.
that's gonna
A
take it
black
down.
swan event.
Like
They call it a black swan event.
there's still not a lot of homes on the market and there's still buyers who want to buy. And there's still a huge pool of buyers waiting for the interest rates to come
Mhm.
down so that they can jump back in.
But so here's my thought about that because the interest rates are down. Like I just sold a new build and the payment was $2,200 because they got like a crazy incentive. It was under 4%. So they can go new construction and still get that low payment, but they're not doing it. I think people are just afraid of the economy. There's just no confidence there,
Or is it that I mean, maybe, right? Like, or they're not aware?
or they're not aware. I think at the end of the day, that's all people want is just the monthly payment. Because, I mean, is price that big of a deal?
Again, I think it's like case by case.
Yeah,
Um,
true. It's just an interesting time. Be a problem solver.
be a problem solver. I think that's huge in life in general, right?
Yeah,
Be a problem solver.
not a problem watcher. Stop watching to circle it back to the beginning. Stay off of Facebook. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. Make
Thanks
sure
for
you're
watching.
subscribed. Courtney has a channel as well. So you can follow her on is it just your name?
I don't know.
I'll link it below. I'll tag her.